7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Are you ready?
The CJ Howard Show. Now let's go to CJ Howard.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this fall evening here in November, the third week in November, as we are a week and a half away from Thanksgiving. Everybody here on the CJ Howard Show we want to wish you an early. I'll have a show this week. It'll be mostly a Thanksgiving show, but we're 2 weeks away. We're excited. We love Thanksgiving. Love turkey. Episode number 13 of the CJ Howard Show. As we get set for what's going to be a nice show tonight, we've got a great guest list. We got a good stuff on hand, and got a dynamite co-host. He might even serve a volleyball at you if you're not paying attention. Let's get our guest list out there, everybody. Joining us in about 10 minutes is going to be Casey Huff, the head boys basketball coach of the Knott County Central Patriots. Then we're going to hear from Kyle Jones, the Harlan County boys coach, at 8:30. We're going to talk to Chris Salyers at 9 o'clock. Of course, Chris is now back at Mercer County, where he started. We're going to talk with him, get his thoughts on the return for him back to Mercer County and his new team. And then we're going to get the chance to talk to Armando for the first time in a couple of weeks. They've been going through a lot at WYMT. We're going to talk with him about a lot of things going on, UK football, basketball, everything with Armando as we get set for the stretch run. Joining me tonight, my co-host, the man on the scene, the volleyball master. You hear him every Friday night on the Game of the Week. You also hear him during the basketball season, and he is one of the co-coaches on the Pineville Lady Mountain Lion volleyball team. Mr. Jon North is with me. Jon, welcome here tonight.
Yes, CJ. Good time of year to be a sports fan. You got football wrapping up, basketball's about to kick off. Volleyball dying down a little bit. Honestly, I'm a volleyball coach now, but this is probably my favorite time of year to be a sports fan. As far as on TV, you got college football going on, as well as NFL, as well as college basketball, as well as the NBA. So, and hockey. So, all of those sports there's something on TV to watch every night if you're a sports fan. And, high school wise, it's a blast too. So excited to get on and talk some hoops and football with you.
I'm also live on TikTok tonight. I don't know if I forgot to mention that. This is something new I'm going to try. People that's watching on TikTok, you can see my computer screen. You'll see who I'm talking to, and I'll explain things as we go through tonight. So appreciate everybody there on TikTok with us too. But you're right, Jon. First of all, breaking news. We have no undefeated NFL teams now. Buffalo just finished off the Chiefs about 30 minutes ago, 30-21. And I told everybody, I said it was going to happen. Nobody wanted to listen to me.
And the Chiefs have been like in close game after close game every Sunday. It's been must watch television when they're on. So, it's just a matter of time, CJ, when you kind of let teams play with you, and you're kind of like eventually the odds and the luck is going to go against you at some point, and no team is that lucky. But I still think they're probably the team to beat maybe in the NFL. But regardless, because I'm not betting against Patty Mahomes until he proves me otherwise. But anytime you're letting a team just kind of hang around, that's going to happen.
Well, I think the big thing too in this game, when I noticed big time, this game, Buffalo really owned time of possession, and that's something that you don't do against Patrick Mahomes. And I thought Buffalo played very well. Buffalo deserved to win the game, if I know Mahomes, he's going to say, "Hey, congratulations to the Bills. They deserve the victory." Well, listen, it's hard to go undefeated in the NFL. It's very rarely where you see this, and I think that I think that's big. It's hard, and I think we'll very rarely see it. Jon North is my dude, freshman. Robert Daniels saying that to you there.
I think, CJ, that FR in internet talk means for real.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You're going to teach
sports brains on. You've got the sports brain on. But it is for real. But Robert Daniels is also my dude. I love that guy. him and I have very similar coaching energy. So I vibe with Robert Daniels really well.
Yes, Robert is one of the basketball coaches, right?
He does basketball, and he's the head softball coach right now.
Okay. Softball, there we go.
They had a tremendous season last year, and probably, looking at things, they're going to be right back in the driver's seat in the district. I think for a chance at a district championship and all A as well. So he's got it rolling down there. But I think if you ask Robert Daniels to coach, what's an Olympic? If you ask him to coach like swimming or something, he'd be like, "Yeah, let's do it," because he's all in kids, man.
Yeah, I agree 100%. That's what it's all about. It's about the kids.
Yeah.
We got a big week coming up. We're in the regional finals. We've got a rarity of games of some matchups we've not seen in a long time, John. I'm looking at two of them. I remember in 2A a long time ago when Corbin and Ashland and Prestonsburg, Somerset all used to be in 2A. And I remember these two used to play all the time in the playoffs. Well, these four teams are going to play each other in the playoffs this coming Friday night. Somerset's going to Prestonsburg, and Ashland is traveling to Corbin. And this is a big week because we've got some good matchups. You got let's go over just real quick before we get Casey in here. Let me get the schedule out for this week. Here are the games and where everybody's going to be. We got Hazard at Raceland. And this is a rematch from week 5. Hazard's a lot better football team now than they were. They had played Corbin the week before they played Raceland. They turned the ball over 4 times. Raceland scored 28 points off those 5 turnovers. Let's see I think this is going to be a totally different game this time when they go down there Friday night at Raceland.
Well, I said this. Sorry, Steve to jump in there, but I said this on the broadcast a couple weeks ago. I had Betsy Lane and Knott Central on the football side, and I said at the top of that broadcast, when you get in the playoffs, it doesn't matter how bad you beat a team previously. It's a new season, and these teams know that their life is on the line, and so they're going to play like it. That Betsy Lane, Knott Central led Betsy Lane in the third quarter. I think it was like 14-12 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think people kind of shocked, but I'm like, man, that just happens. I watched a really good Pineville team and Harlan the same way. Pineville blew out Harlan earlier in the season. They come down to the playoffs and Harlan gave them all they wanted. And it's a new season. Everybody's 0-0 when you get to playoffs. And when you're fighting for your season, when you're fighting for your life, it's much different. And Coach Chandler's got things booming over there at Hazard, and I think that'll be a different ballgame this time around. But you got to take care of football. Yeah, that must be. You got to. 4 turnovers. It's not going to work if you're going to win. We got Ashland at Corbin. This is a game. This is the most intriguing game besides probably Covington Catholic and Boyle County in the state because people knows Ashland. They're going to run the football, control the clock. Corbin's going to throw the football, control the clock. Which offensive style is going to win this game? Because both defenses are pretty good. I'm expecting a low-scoring game, actually, because I don't think these two teams are listen, if you're going to Corbin, you better get there early because it is going to be a packed house. We'll go ahead and talk more about the schedule in just a few minutes. But now joining us is the head man of the Patriots, Knott County Central head basketball coach Casey Huff with his coach. Tremendously, thank you being with us again.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you guys.
You got a lot going on. You in about the 4th week of workouts. I know your team has to be tired of each other, ready to see some new faces. Scrimmaging, I think, starts up for a lot of teams this coming week. So tell me how things have been going so far and how you like the team.
They've been going really well. We actually had our first scrimmage yesterday versus McGoffin County at Prestonsburg. Nothing like a good 10 a.m. game on a Saturday to figure out your personnel and who's about it and who's not.
I
was actually really proud of the guys though. Overall, I think we're going to have some growing pains this year. It's really tough to replace 2 seniors like Jaden Huff and Hunter Haddix, who, you're looking at probably 65, 70% of our scoring. So trying to figure out some new roles. but the guys, they're really bought in, and their energy's really good right now. We've really harped on controlling the controllables, and that's your effort and your attitude and your actions. And I really am proud of those guys for trying to do their best in that area. They are really trying to control the controllables, and they're showing up every day and working. So I'm excited. I'm excited about the season. I'm excited about, there's going to be some valleys. We know that, but I'm excited to see their progress over the course of the season and see where we're at the end.
You got a young team, experience. You got a couple starters back from last year's team. You did lose your leading scorer. You're going to have to find, but yesterday when you scrimmaged, did you feel like that you may have found, sometimes when you scrimmage, you find diamonds in the rough that you don't expect when you're in practice. Did you get some play out of people that you might not expected that can help you like maybe sometime this year?
Yeah, I think so. You always want to see the kids that can show up at the showdown. A lot of kids have the popcorn effect kind of gets the best of them, but I think we have a pretty good idea with what our kids are capable of doing. These young men, we're pretty junior heavy. Yesterday we actually played without our starting point guard, our senior Drake Sloan, and then we also played with Braxton Reed, our potentially starting center, played limited minutes, and then we have another starter out, Chance Ambergy, who went all football season without injury, and then the second day of basketball practice he gets a concussion naturally. So, but it was still really good. I mean, I saw a lot of really good things yesterday. The guys really played well together. Everything that we have really been focused on, I saw some glimpses of improvement in those areas. So we left the gym. I think everybody left the gym with a really positive and optimistic outlook going forward for sure.
McGoffin County, a state team from last year. Of course, I don't know how a lot of people says they think they're going to be decently good again.
They're 4 seniors was in that lineup, and obviously you're talking about the Barnett kid who's just an absolute stud at U-Pike now, redshirting. He's really good. But you know what you're going to get with Magoffin County. Castle does a tremendous job with those kids. They play extremely hard. They're tough kids, and it was a really good opening scrimmage for us to kind of gauge where we're at and what we need to work on, where we want to go.
Yeah. When you get to this time of the year, you start to feel, the kids are starting to they're wanting to get in scrimmage mode. Game mode is a couple weeks away. How do you sort of like taper down the things that you've done early so that you don't have as many like injuries or fatigue? Because a lot of times kids get a little. When you first start, they get hyped up, and then there's a letdown period. And when you start playing games, then everybody's excited again. So,
I think for us, no. The answer is no. We don't taper anything down. We're as physical as it can be in practice. Until probably January, we'll start cutting back our practice time a little shorter. But right now, it's the guys I tell you 2.5 to 3. We do a book study every day prior to practice, so they have to be there early for that. Right now, we're doing the chop wood, carry water book study because we're really just fixated. Like last year, we were fixated on the result, and I think as a leader, that trickled down, and I think it cost us. I think I had a lot to do with that. So I have some developing to do as a head coach. And so this year, we're just really focused on the process, and that's why we chose that book. So we're doing that every day. That's going to take up 15, 20 minutes. We get our prayer in, we hit the floor wide open for 2:10, and then we'll end on some extra shots, and then we go home. But no, we're not holding back on anything. We're all out until later in the year when our bodies get tired, and obviously once games start, there's going to be a lot more days where we need to rest and focus more on film and scout and things of that sort. But right now we're all in.
You're back in the 2A tournament this year. I mean, you're back in the All-A this year.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I think your first opponent in the All-A is going to be Leslie County.
That's correct.
I think that's later in January. But you got a lot of things going on prior to that. You guys are in the Mountain Classic. You will be playing. Let me get it up
your
here.
Next guest. I'll be playing your next guest.
Yes, Harlan. You'll be playing Kyle on there. Yes, that's exactly right. I was telling people that this field of 8 is the best field of 8 I've seen at the Mountain Classic in a long, long time. From 1 to 8, any of the 8 teams can beat anybody. They're strong, physical teams. Each team has about 2 or 3 nice scores, and it seems like if these games I think are all 4 going to come down to last 2-3 minutes of the game, because I think these are 8 quality teams.
Yeah, they're really quality. You know, I'll be very happy if it comes down to the last 2 minutes of the game with Harlan County, because Kyle, Mike, and Big Mike, they're like the Hurleys of Southeast Kentucky. So you've got basketball the fonts in that family, and Kyle, man, he's a great friend of mine. Anytime I text him, he's always hits me back. Mike's the same way. Just got the lot of respect for that whole family, and I look forward to competing with those guys. I know Kyle will have his bunch ready, but you're right. It'll be a great tournament. We're excited to be in it. We feel fortunate to be in it, year in and year out. It's just a really great opportunity for our kids to get some exposure and, experience what a TV timeout feels like and things of that sort, and get used to that environment. So, yeah, we're definitely looking forward to that, and I think it'd be a great tournament.
I know you don't pay attention to preseason rankings. I feel like you've been disrespected. I'm going to be really honest with you, Coach. I think you're a better team than what a lot of people's giving you rankings for. I think you're one of the top 4 teams in this region. Everybody's going to say that Breathitt and Hazard are the top 2. Then there's a debate between Perry and you and anybody. But I feel like that your team is you. Last year, you really came along. I think much better than I think a lot of people thought. And then you were really happy with this team. Talk about your progress the past 2 years and how pleased you are, because you have to be pretty pleased, because your kids have come a long way since when you started.
Well, let me start by saying I do disagree. I don't feel like we've been disrespected. I think it's probably a fair assessment. I think Hazard is the front runner, obviously, with Al at the helm, and they're good at literally every position, going 6-7 deep on the bench.
Yeah,
Jeff Honeycutt, as always, is going to do a tremendous job, and Austin Sperry, elite point guard. I can't wait to see what he does at the collegiate level. What he's done on the gridiron is just incredible. I mean, did he eclipse the 3,000 mark or whatever it was receiving?
Yes.
I mean, just. I mean, we may not see an athlete like that again, and my lifetime. I mean, to be able to do what he's done on the basketball court and on the gridiron is incredible. So anytime you got a guy like that leading your team, you're going to be up there. Perry, Shannon, just offensively, I think he's head and shoulders above everybody. And how he gets his teams to play, it's really conceptual style, and he just teaches them. He doesn't teach them plays; he teaches them how to play the game, which is where we're trying to get our guys to. So I don't feel like we've been disrespected. Last year, again, I think a lot of it was on the coaching staff, me in particular, just fixated on, we knew we had a shot to compete for a regional championship, and that became the fixation, as opposed to just let's fall in love with the process and see where we're at the end. And that's what we did on year 1. We only won 13 games that season, but I was so proud of the progress our team made over the duration of the season. So this year we're really trying to get back to year 1 in terms of our mentality, where we're just really falling in love every day with, man, this is an area we're going to work on. Whether we win or lose, are we giving max effort? Do we get better in those areas? Let's just not worry about anything else except the day-to-day stuff. And wherever it ends up, it ends up. But we know we're giving our best effort and we're focused on the right things. So last year was tough, but I'm really excited about. And last year was still. I mean, we won 24 games in a district championship, and I'm so proud of my kids. I'm not trying to. I mean, Hunter Haddix and Jay and Huff. I think they would tell you we had a fun year, but I wish I would have handled things differently. But again, we're all learning and growing, and when we stop doing that, we're going to stop developing. So. But
I do. I like the team a lot, Coach. I mean, I really do.
I like this team too. I really do. We had a horrific summer. I will be honest. It was really tough. I mean, and probably a lot of it was, how it is. Like my kids give all they can, and in the off season especially. I mean, we work, and so to get back on the horse after you come up short in the Final Four of the region is always a daunting task. And we're finally to a point where we're mentally just ready to go and the spirits are high. And now I think everybody can just kind of feel the excitement. Like, we're here, we've got a shot to really improve and give ourselves a chance at the end. And that's what it's all about.
And I like your schedule. I think you're playing a lot of teams that's going to help you get there. I see. Are you going anywhere before Christmas?
No, Estill. We got WYMT, and then we're going to Estill County for Christmas. And obviously, you see, Clay County on there, Breathitt, Hazard, Perry. Those guys. But I like our schedule. It's we've got some good amount of home games mixed in there, and then towards the end, we've got some really tough opponents to hopefully prepare us for tournament play.
And that January 27th game is going to be a very special game, I understand. You guys are playing at Car Creek Gym.
Yeah.
According to Justin, when he was on here a couple weeks ago, I think he said you guys it's going to be like an old time atmosphere and everything, and they're trying to hype up the game. You might want to talk a little bit about that, and I'll let Jon ask his questions.
Yeah, the Glory Road game's always a really cool opportunity. We last year we played at Wayland, or the year before, I'm sorry, we played at Wayland, which was a really neat experience. King Kelly and that atmosphere. And this year's at Car Creek. I know they've done a really good job of getting that place ready. I think they're still doing a few things to crossing our T's and dotting our I's and make sure it's perfect for the players. But we're excited about that opportunity. We got the throwback uniforms ready, the Car Creek throwback uniforms. I think the kids always enjoy that. And then we're also playing at Allen when we played Floyd Central there for another Glory Road game. So Glory Road games up to this point aren't my favorite because I've not won one as a coach. So I don't really look forward to them. I mean, as a competitor personally, I'd like to win one. And I know my kids feel the same way. So we've not had much luck with them, but maybe we can steal one this year. I know we'll be playing a good Floyd Central team that always plays hard. So we'll see.
All right, Jon, you got anything for Coach?
Jon, real quick. I like the sneakers.
Thank you. I don't know if you remember this, but I was calling a game for WYMT over at your gym, and I don't remember what I had on that night, but I kind of had my leg like over to the side, and after the timeout, you were done drawing something up, and you looked over and saw them, and you're like, I like the sneakers. And
I do always try to give a nod to the sneakerheads out there. So
that was just out of the blue because I like to take off my headset, especially when we're over there for the classic, because I can hear whoever's on this home bench really well in the huddle, and so I always like listening to you, especially.
I appreciate
and then you got done and you turned around and you were like, "Yeah, I like the sneakers."
Your backdrop's way cooler than mine.
I'm up to about 90 pairs or so back there.
Yeah, so I've had to kind of cut back on mine a little bit, but I may just speed it back up for the season.
Yeah, it's time, Coach, for sure.
Yeah, it is.
I really liked what you said though about kind of looking at yourself as a coach, and I really like I'm a coach too, volleyball with my wife, and I was kind of jotting down the book club idea. So who is your kind of influences on that, and then at what point did you kind of look at yourself in the mirror after last season and say, okay, this was where we made the mistake. This is where I need to change as a head coach?
It's really good questions. The book study thing is just, my first year here, we did the Energy Bus. And it was just a really fitting book for the time. They had won 8 games prior, and we just wanted to make sure the energy was right because we knew coming in that culture was everything. I'm a big culture guy. I know it's a buzzword, but, I believe culture, and I believe in the standard, and I believe in doing it every day. And then last year was, I didn't read a book. And, and for me, it's about my guys more than anything. But I need it too. And we need to grow together as people. In today's climate in the coaching profession, the reality is there's 2 types of coaches: those that's been fired and those that will be. And I have got to utilize my time with these guys for however long it'll be. I've got to use this game as a vehicle to make an impact on them. And I've really, really this offseason got back to that. I'm just like, man, I could be fired next year. I could be here 10 years, but I want to make sure that I'm doing my absolute best for these kids. And when they leave, they're like, we grew, and I'm a better man because of him, and I'm going to be a better man because of them. So that's kind of our book study. That's where that's at. Just trying to grow as people and be better. And then what was your second question? I'm sorry.
I just said, at what point, after the season, did you look at yourself and say, this needs to change, I need to change, and then maybe some implementation with your, because you got assistant coaches as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. My staff, I believe in my staff. I believe we have the best staff, and I mean that sincerely. Coach Cottle, Coach O, Coach Bartram are all just tremendous people and tremendous basketball minds, and they're not yes men. They're the type of people I can go to and say, where did we mess up? And they're going to tell me. And,
I love that. Yeah.
And we just keep it very real with each other, and we challenge each other as men and as leaders, and we try to figure it out together. And it probably just kind of developed organically through talk and me just reflecting, because I knew it didn't end the way I wanted it to, and I knew it didn't feel right the way it ended. So I knew that something was off, and man, it's just one of those things, you got to work at your craft, get back in the lab, figure out what you did wrong as a leader, and try to make some changes to give these guys the best shot possible and create memories that's going to last a lifetime.
I love it. And I hope to see you at the Mountain Classic. I hope to be on the call there. But, I tell people, I'm a 13th region guy. I work down here in the 13th region. So, and I know you're familiar with that area as well. That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
But, I always say that you guys, especially, watching you on the sideline and then your team, I think they always have a certain style about them, regardless of how you're playing at the time. The effort is never something that I walk in a gym and I say, these guys, they're just not up here. Like, it's always 100% no matter what the score is. And I think that's a testament to you as a coach for sure.
It's a testament to our whole staff, and it's a testament to these kids being bought in. Not as much me, but more them. But, man, you saying that means a lot, because that's the precedent. That's the standard we want to set. We're always going to give 100% regardless of what happens, and we'll go from there. So thank you for saying that.
Well, Coach, good luck, and I'll see what I can drag out for you shoe-wise at the.
I'm gonna be on you now. I'm gonna be anticipating something nice.
I got you, Coach.
All right, see you guys. Thanks.
See you guys. Thank you.
Before I let you go, I got one more question. I just want to answer a question in the chat here from Chris Rawlings. He's wanting to know the 8 teams that were in the WYMT Mountain Basketball Classic. It's Knott, Hazard, Perry, Breathitt,
Harlan,
Pineville, Harlan County,
not Pikeville.
Did I say Pikeville? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Clay, Harlan County, Pineville,
You got
Breathitt, Hazard, Knott, Perry, and is it Paintsville or Prestonsburg?
Harlan, Knott, Perry, Clay, Hazard, Prestonsburg, Breathitt, and Pineville.
Yeah. So those are the 8 teams in the Mountain Classic. I just wanted to answer it real quick for him. He said thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for the question. Coach, got one more question. I'll let you go.
Sure.
You and Megan basketball talk all the time. I'm excited about her team. I'm hoping to get her on here in a week or two, because I love her team, especially you guys picking up McElawrence, and I think it's really going to be and then of course the mom is helping too. And I think Megan, that's super for them, and I'm excited about that. But it get a little tense sometimes when you guys are talking basketball in the Huff family, can't it?
Man, it's hard. It's really hard. I don't know how we do it, but we do it. We've got 2 little girls that are just warriors that tag right along, and we just both feel really fortunate to be able to impact kids, so we don't take it for granted, and we just kind of made a commitment to make the best out of it. There are times when we come home and we just kind of know to leave the talk at the door. And then there are times when we come home and we know that the other one probably needs to vent. So, I think we try to do a good job about saying, okay, do you want me to ask? Do you want my advice, or do you want me to just be an ear tonight? You know what I mean? Because I
bet John feels the same way, where he helps his wife in volleyball.
He knows.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And Megan and I are both very competitive, so I think we both struggle sometimes with leaving that loss. Like, literally, you need to come, take it off, hang it at the door, walk in, and be in the moment with your family, and that's tough sometimes. But I do think we're both growing in that area, and we'll continue to try to get better with that. But we do feel at the end of the day, the opportunity outweighs all the stuff that we struggle with, and all the negativity that sometimes comes with the climate of high school basketball and the environment, because God put us here. We're here right now. We want to be in the moment. We just want to make the best out of it for our kids.
Amen. Amen. I agree 100%. Well, Coach, thank you so very much again, always. Anytime I've asked you to come on, you've been willing to come, and I always want to give you your opportunity to let you talk about your Patriots. And I think you guys are going to be a factor in the 14th. I really do. I think you're going to be right there when it's all said and done. Of course, the 14th region tournament this year is in Hyman at Knott County, so that's big. That's big for you too. So play on your home floor.
It's big. We're excited. Anything at the MCAC, we really look forward to. And CJ, I think I speak for a lot of people in the mountains when I say you do a tremendous job with this show. It's always organized. You always have, great people helping out. And I just really thank you for what you do for these kids, because at the end of the day, that's the priority, and that's why you do it. So thank you for what you do. Thanks for inviting me on. Really humble to be on here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for the kind words, Casey. I appreciate that very, very much. It's all about the kids. It's not about me. It's not about anybody. It's about these kids. Right. And that's why we want to promote them any way we can. Coach, good luck to you. Again, your opener, let's let everybody know about that. Opener is December 3rd. You will play Powell County at Knott County Central. So if you want to check out the Patriots, you can on December 3rd. I think you got one more scrimmage coming up. When will that be, and who will that be?
We play this Saturday. We play at Betsy Lane versus Pike Central. Our JV plays prior to the varsity game, which is at 2:10, I think, and then our JV plays before that. So that'll be our final scrimmage, and then the real thing's right around the corner. So we're excited.
Well, if I don't get a chance to see you anymore, Coach, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, and good luck to you and the Patriots. And we'll talk to you very soon.
Thanks, CJ. Thanks, John.
See you, Coach.
Appreciate it. Coach Casey Huff of the Knott County Central Patriots. Tell you what, John, he's not too high on his team. He's not too low on his team. He did lose a lot from last year's team. But I tell you what, I still think they're going to be a factor in the 14th.
Yeah, they are. And, I wasn't just blowing smoke, CJ, but, I knew every time I have a Knott Central game, I've seen them get beat pretty good before. I've seen them win some big games that that people probably thought that they weren't going to win. But regardless, his teams always just play so hard for him. And if you listen to him, and, I've been blessed enough to be close to him on the sidelines before, in that gym while he's coaching. And you can see why the kids play so hard for him. And I'm always very high on his teams because of that, and you can just hear with what he's saying, and that's why he's a special guy. And, Knott Central, I think, is very lucky to have him. And I would say he says the same thing, that he's lucky to be at Knott Central. So I'm excited for the ride. I'm excited for the ride this year for them. And, they've got a tough one opening up there in the Mountain Classic that I'll probably see, but I'm sure that he'll be ready for the challenge, as will Coach Jones. Yeah,
let's actually real quick. Let's go over the Mountain Classic brackets real quick. While we got a second, while we're waiting on Coach Jones. Monday night, 6:00, game one will be the Knott County Central Patriots and the Harlan County Black Bears. Game two on Monday night will be the Clay County Tigers and the Perry County Central Commodores. Tuesday night, there'll be a consolation game between the two losers at 5:00. At 6:30, then we return to first round play as Prestonsburg will play Hazard, and Pineville will play Breathitt County about 8:30. Wednesday night, the second consolation game in the boys at 5:00. Then the girls will take center stage. The Prestonsburg Lady Cats against the North Laurel Lady Jaguars. And then in game two, the Lady Patriots of Knott County Central versus the Harlan County Lady Black Bears. Same thing goes on Thursday night. There'll be a consolation game with the girls. Then the girls' last two games will be played. The Paintsville Lady Tigers and the Knox Central Lady Panthers, who I am extremely high on in the 13th. And then the Perry County Central Lady Commodores under new head coach, Coach, I already forgot her name. She comes from Letcher Central. And they Perry Central will play Corbin, the Lady Red Hounds. So then Friday night, there'll be a girls' second consolation game then the two semifinal games. Saturday morning will be the two semifinals for the girls. Then they'll return back at 6 o'clock for the boys championship or the girls championship game, and then 8 o'clock the boys championship game. Going to be at the John C. Combs Arena at Perry County Central High School on November 9th, December 9th to December 14th. It's a week later this year because the football state finals is a week later due to Kentucky playing their home finale on November 30th. So, good field, great games. You need to get out to the John C. Combs Arena. It's going to be a packed house probably every night, and some good basketball there.
Yeah, let me get your opinion here, CJ. You get everybody else's, but, I know the Mountain Classics sometimes have been tossed around, in the middle of kind of like in that January area, and then sometimes, they bounce it back to play, the first couple weeks of December. Do you like it as kind of like a beginning of the basketball season thing, or do you like it when more teams are more of what they're going to be at the end of the year?
I like it. I like it in the middle. I like it when it was in January. I also don't like that they took the consolation games from Saturday. I think that takes away from it's hard for people to come watch two semifinal girls games and then have to leave and go do your stuff, and you come back. But there's like 4 or 5 hours there we could have had consolation games, and we could have, a chance to make more money for the schools, a chance for the schools to get more recognition, and a chance for them to not have to rush games. I think playing 3 games on a weeknight is tough on these kids, especially if you're having to play a 5 o'clock game, and you have to come. Say it comes from Prestonsburg and play a 5 o'clock game at Perry Central. It's gonna be tough. You gotta have to leave right before school lets out. And for other schools, it's gonna be the same. So I'm more of 2 games on weeknights, consolation on Saturday, or like we used to do it the old time. Monday and Tuesday would be girls, boys Wednesday and Thursday, and then they use Thursday night as a few consolation games for the first round, and then you let those teams that lose like the 2 teams that lose on Friday night, they should get to play their consolation game. Now they don't get that consolation game. Once they lose, they're done. So. Yeah. I don't like that got took away from them, but I think the one thing they got to work on is that I know what the Mountain Classic was trying to do. They're trying to make it more where they have less games and they would have to have as much. I don't know the word I'm not looking for, but they need to go back to the old format. And I'm more listen. I want to watch a team in January when I know they're. How good I know what they are compared to what they're going to be in December. You have no clue. 2 years ago, for example, Johnson Central boys lost both their games in the Mountain Classic. Didn't look very good, but when they got back in January, they were one of the hottest teams in the 15th region. If they would have played at that time, Johnson Central would have been more of a factor in that tournament. So, I mean, I'm just more of it being – but I know why they don't because of the All-A. Because you got to have those days for the All-A to be able to get their tournament in case there's weather. So,
yeah. And I think, the All-A does prove a problem with when they need to have that tournament. But, I kind of like it as, kind of welcome to basketball season. Here's the best teams within the 3 regions. We're going to see them duke it out.
Yeah, and then I just I'm this is one of the rare years we get a really good field where these will be some great games every night, and I'm Kayla Lowe is the new head coach at Perry Central. I knew it hit me. She's she played at Letcher Central. She's one of their all-time leading scorers and things, and she's going to do a great job at Perry. But I'm excited. I mean, I like the Mountain Classic, but I just wish we'd go back to do some things we used to do.
Yeah.
Coach Jones might have forgot me. That's okay. If he has, that's fine. That happens.
He's a busy man.
Exactly right. He has a lot going on.
Well, let me tell you. Talk a little bit about that Harlan County team. I think a lot of people is going to look at that roster and they're going to say, well, there's no way he can kind of duplicate what he did last year with Trent Noah. But man, I don't think not enough people's talking about how good Maddox Huff is. And if it wasn't coming off the heels of someone as good as Trent Noah, Maddox Huff, I think, would be getting all of the hype in the 13th right now. And I think with the pieces around him, Harlan County is going to be right there when it's all said and done at the end. I think South is probably the favorite in the 13th, if you ask people, is kind of what I've heard. But I think, Harlan County is going to be right there at the end, too.
This is what I've heard preseason-wise in the 13th. I've heard South 1, Corbin 2, Clay 3, Harlan County 4, Pineville 5. You can interchange the 5 teams. I'm like you. I think Harlan County's a lot better basketball team than what a lot of people will give them credit for. Prairie Central plays them first game of the season at OBI. I'm going to be very interested to see. I will get a really good look at them that night because that's going to be a fun atmosphere. If you've never been to OBI and watch a basketball game, that would be a great opportunity to come because it's going to be a great night of basketball. But Maddox Huff is one of those kids. I think they're going to miss Trent, but the big thing is they got 4. We know they got 3 starters back. The 4th one is still coming from an incident that he had over the summertime, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted Coach Jones on, because I wanted to get an update on the young man that was injured during the summertime, so to see if he was doing any better and how his progress is going. But this is a Harlan County team that 4 starters back. They got all their bench players. They've got a really good freshman group they're excited about. I think I'm like you. I think they're being pushed to the side. But I'll tell you, another team is nobody's talking about, and that's the Clay County Tigers. Michael Jones has got probably he did lose 3 starters. But the one thing that Coach Jones has got, he's excited. He's got a group of kids. If I'm not mistaken, this freshman sophomore group was the same group that won the state championship back in 7th and 8th grade. They're excited about this group, and this is the group they've been waiting on. A lot of sharp shooters in this group and good people who can shoot the basketball. And this is you look at those first 2 games, Knott County, Harlan County, Prairie Central, Clay County in the Mountain Classic. That is going to that's good basketball right there. That's probably you right there. You're talking about middle pack teams playing each other, and then if everybody's saying Breathitt and Hazard are the 2 tops in the 14th. Pineville's in the middle in the 13th. Where's Prestonsburg? They're going to be pretty good in the 15th.
Yeah, and obviously, I probably lose a little credibility with people because I'm from Pineville, but I got a feeling that team is going to surprise some people this year. I believe that they're a dark horse, a sleeper in the 13th region this year. I mean, they've got 2 guys that can absolutely fill it up. They had a guy transfer in that from Maria that makes them kind of a different team. So, I think as far as the Mountain Classic goes, I think Pineville, probably a tough draw with Breathitt right out of the gate, but we've seen Breathitt underperform in that tournament for the last couple of years, and so I think you're going to get 2 teams really hungry to prove a point in that game, and I'm super excited to watch that one.
And we haven't talked about. I know they're not in the Mountain Classic, but we've got an old school coach back in the 13th region coaching again. Dickie Phipps is now back at Lynn Camp at an interim basis, taking over for the coach that was released of his duties. I've known Dickie a long time when I used to live in the Barville area. He was still wanting to get back in basketball. Now's his chance, and I think he's going to run with the ball here at Lynn Camp because he knows the kids, he knows the atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, he knows the lay of the land as good as anybody. And one thing about Dinky is, regardless of kind of the talent that he's had, I think old school coaches just have kind of a knack of putting together competitive squads. And that doesn't mean they're going to win a ton of games because, I know Lynn Camp lost their best player last year to graduation, but, he's going to have that team playing hard. He's going to have them playing competitive. And the 51st district is it's Pineville's probably the favorite, but you throw Dinky into the mix. I think Coach Mitchell at Knox County is probably one of the as good as they come. Pineville's loaded with talent this year. Barberville is rebuilding from 2 years ago, but they're going to be better than they were last year. So should be another competitive district. But I mean, throwing him into the mix is just adds to kind of the circus that is the 13th region at times, because you just look at top to bottom. I just don't know the level of coaching. I know 14th has some great ones, but I mean, it is star-studded in the 13th region.
Well, I left out two teams that that were in the bottom. In the middle of the pack in the 13th, and that's Bell County, who has everybody back.
Yep.
And Knox Central, who only lost Chadwell. Those are two from a lot of the rankings I see. People's not giving Coach Sizemore enough credit at Bell. And, another team that nobody's even got on their radar, and if they don't, they're going to be sitting at the house in March, is the North Laurel Jaguars.
Yo.
Tell you right now, North Laurel is ready to make people eat crow, because a lot of people, we're sweeping them under the rug. I hear people say they're not related no more to this. Yes, they are. North Laurel, listen, I know that the 49th district is a tough district. You got Jackson County, who every year is going to be solid.
Yeah, Coach Parrott is as good as any coach will tell you that. Coach Parrott, it's not ever a team that you want to play.
No.
And they're going to be good this year too. They're going to be better than they were last year.
And you got North and Clay, who both can play with anybody. You got in the 50th district, you got Corbin, you got Corbin, you got South Laurel, but don't sleep on Whitley County. Don't sleep on the Colonels. They're going to be a lot better than they were. I mean, listen, this is the second year of that group they've had, and they're excited about them. Don't sleep. Listen, 13th region boys basketball is wild. Any night there could be an upset, but it won't be an upset. To me, it would be just a good team beating a good team. Now, on the girls' side in the 13th, I think it's two-way race. Knox Central and North Laurel. Now, I do, Corbin's going through a lot of graduation. South Laurel's going through a new coaching staff and transfers. Clay County's still not where they need. They still are not where they need to be because they're still rebuilding. Harlan girls going to be pretty good. They get an invite to the Mount Classic. We're going to see how good they really are. Then the two. Listen, North Laurel and Knox Central both are legitimate contenders to go play in the state because they both listen. When you've got a player of the caliber of the one at Knox Central, she's broke about every record there is. And, it's a two-way race in girls, but an all-well-round race with everybody in the 13th and boys. And that's just the opposite in the 14th and 15th boys and girls because everybody is involved in both of them regions. There's not, I think Hazard is the overwhelming favorite right now. But I think Breathitt can beat anybody on a given night. Hazard, Prairie Central can beat anybody on a given night. Prairie Central got everybody back. They lost Castle and Swan. That's a tough loss, but they've got some kids that were back behind that can play, that were young, that are ready to go. Two teams I'm hearing a lot of. Leslie County, a lot of people want the Eagles. They think John Noble's going to have a really good team this year. And a lot of people are high on the Wolf County Wolves. Everybody says Wolf County is going to be a very strong team in the 14th. We'll have to wait and see. Girls, I think Knott County is the favorite, but I think Owsley County still – listen, now people are dismissing Owsley County and Letcher. I don't know why they're doing that because they're still good basketball teams and still competitive in the 14th. We had Olivia on here last week talking about her Lady Eagle team, Leslie County. I think they're in the mix too. In the 15th, we've got a new coach at Pikeville. Nobody's even talked about that. Christy Orrin, who coached there, has won 5 consecutive regional championships, or 5 out of 6. I'm sorry. She steps down to do other things. And, we haven't talked about that because that's big. Because now the region, who is the favorite over there? A lot of people like Johnson Central. A lot of people do. A lot of people like Shelby Valley. They think that the Pirates still going to be in that mix, even though they don't have Coach Orrin around no more. And then on the boys, you ain't going to dismiss Pikeville every year. Pikeville, they're going to be the overwhelming favorite, but you got to be able to compete. Now, the 15th's a little different from in boys this year because there's a lot of good players up there, but these teams are not as experienced with senior leadership, if you know what I mean. These teams have got like 1-2 seniors on every team. You heard Casey mention they had played McLaughlin County, who probably started an all-new starting five. Yeah, well, they graduated the best senior class they've had in school history. So, listen, I'm going to bring out my first preseason rankings next week on the show.
Oh, you heard it here first.
You've heard it first. I will have a boys and girls top 10 preseason rankings for everybody next week. And, listen, it's going to be a revolving door because you ain't going to see the same 10 teams in there every week because it's going to be that you're going to see teams lose that should win and teams that should win lose. And that's just because of the competitiveness of these regions. And I tell you what, there's going to be some good basketball in the 12th. And guess who's back coaching in the 12th region in boys? John Bentley's back at East Jessamine coaching the East Jessamine boys, and I'm excited about that. John decided to swallow his pride, take a year and go help Coach Feldhouse at Madison Central. He said that was the best thing he's ever done in his career. He's more rejuvenated now. Coach Bentley's going to be on the show next week with us as we're going to talk about his East Jessamine coach or Jaguars. But he's more motivated now than he's ever been. So, yeah, it's going to be, I'm excited about John being back. And 12th Region's got some good basketball over there. We saw last year how Danville Christian, boys and girls, come from nowhere to rule the region all year long. And they got a lot of those kids back. So, yeah, it's going to be big time. I say Coach Jones forgot about me, so I'll have to send him a message after the show's over, see if he can come back next week. I know he's busy over there, a lot going on in Harlan County. We're going to have Coach with us. We're going to have Mercer County head coach Chris Salyers with us in just a little bit. We're going to talk about his Mercer County Lady Titans. But let's talk football. Let's go back to football for right now, John. What about let's go back to the schedule. We talked about Hazard Raceler. We talked about Ashland Corbin. We get ready to do the next game, and then Coach Huff come on the show. Here's an old school game from the past. Russell at Belfry. You talk about an old school game there. These two used to play every year in the playoffs, and it used to be a dog fight.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like, especially that class this year, because you got some heavyweights. You got some heavyweights in there, and I'm glad it's kind of mixed up than it was last year, so you don't kind of get the same matchups. But you got Bell lurking in that class as well. But Belfry has been a really fun team to watch this year. CJ, just scoreboard watching. They've given up a lot of points. They've scored a lot of points. It's been fireworks just about every game out there for Coach Haywood. I said at the beginning of the year, I thought that team was very much improved from what I saw last year. So I'm excited to see kind of where that class pans out, because this week it's kind of D-Day for a lot of those schools because of those heavyweight matchups now as we get on into region play.
You got Lexington. Here's another one. Lexington Catholic at Bale. Now, Catholic, look, Catholic started 0-6. They've won their last 6.
Yeah, look at who they played.
Yeah, Bowling Green, Boyle County. Covington Catholic.
You tell me who would have not gone 0-6, and I'm showing you probably a list of state champions that wouldn't go 0-6 with that schedule. So, they're going to go up on Log Mountain, and they're going to see a really good Bell team, but they are not going to be intimidated by the atmosphere. and they're not going to be intimidated by the style that Bell plays. But I still think it'll be a really good game. And I would probably maybe even put Bell as maybe just a slight favorite up there because it's Log Mountain and you never count out Coach Hilton. But, that's going to be a real test for Bell County and really both teams. I'm excited to see the outcome of that one. I may venture up and watch that one. Who knows?
Yeah, because that's going to be a really good ball game. You got Pulaski County traveling 4 or 5+ hours to go to Highlands to play the Bluebirds. Somerset is going to be at Prestonsburg. Pikeville's at Sayre. This is my favorite game of the week right here, John. Undefeated Sayre, 12-0 against 7-5 Pikeville, who also started off 0-5.
Yep.
And this is a big game for Pikeville because I'm going to be real honest. If they win this game, I think they'll go back to state championship game. I really, truly believe that because I think that this is a statement game for the the Panthers. If Sayre can win this game, this would be the win of a lifetime for Coach Pennington in his Spartans because I think it's going to be probably one of the better, more complete games you'll see all weekend. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Then the other 2 games in the mountains are Martin County at Beechwood, and Southwestern will travel all the way to Cooper. And I don't even know where Cooper is at. I'm so sorry. It's somewhere in the western part of the state.
Cooper High School. I thought it was in northern
Kentucky. Okay. It's a long trip up there. Now, there's some other games. Let me give you the rest of the schedule because there wasn't a lot of games on the schedule, but I just took them all. You got Newport versus Kentucky Country Day. This is a Class A game. Another Class A game, Newport Central Catholic at Campbellsville. 2A, you got LCA at Mayfield. You got Monroe County at Owensboro Catholic. A lot of people like Owensboro Catholic to win 2A. We'll have to wait and see. 3A, you got Central at Christian Academy out of Louisville. You got Union County at Hart County. Now, here's the game that a lot of people are looking at in the state. Covington Catholic at Boyle County. If one team can play with Boyle, this could be the team in Covington Catholic because the defensively, Covington Catholic is about as good as anybody. DeSales will be at Paducah Tillman. Bardstown will be at Franklin County, and DeSales will be at Paducah Tillman. 5A will be Athens at Bowling Green, North Bullitt at South Warren. And if a lot of people do not know, Mayo and St. X both are out, gone. They got beat this past Friday night. And because of that, Ballard will travel to Trinity. Barron County will be at Great Crossing. Central Hardin will be at Rowell. And Madison Central will be at Frederick Douglass. So that is the entire schedule for the state of Kentucky in high school football. Can't wait for Friday night. And not for sure where I'm going to be yet. I'm trying to get my brothers to go. Let's go watch Corbin Ashland. But I think we may wind up going to Raceland and watch the Bulldogs. But we'll have to wait and see what the week brings for that. But I'm excited. Can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun there. We'll have
the hall, CJ.
Yeah, it is. That's about from here. I think we looked at it was about 2.5 hours from here. So in a bus, it's a little more. But I would like to watch that Ashland Corbin game because I think that's going to be a doozy. You mentioned you might want to go up and watch Bale and Catholic. It's going to be a pretty good game up there. But listen, I think Bell County at home, it's hard to beat them. Hard to beat them. And
hard to beat them up there.
And I will be real honest. If I'm not mistaken, if Bell and Belfry both win, we may get Bell Belfry next week. There's a chance we get that.
Yeah.
So if that happens, again, the 2 winningest coaches all time in high school football will battle. And that's worth admission anytime. So, and by the way, speaking of Coach Haywood, his book, if you've not had an opportunity to get it, you need to. He's got 2 of them, and his newest book is going to have some questionnaire added to it. So you can go to Amazon.com and check that out too. Let me go back over here just a minute. Faith football. I've got it in my notes here because I always put it here. Faith, Family, and Football. That's his first book. And then Climbing the Mountain. He added a questionnaire that's going to be added to that pretty soon. Go to Amazon.com and get that. Also, John Hogg. I don't know if you guys know him or not. He's been on the show. We're going to have John back here probably pretty soon, him and Jeff Drummond both. He's got a book out. It's called Name, Image, and Murder, The Court of No Return. You can go to Amazon.com and check that book out. I'm going to put his thing that you can click on to try to look that book up. But the name of the book is Name, Image, Murder, The Court of No Return. It's a really good book. A lot of people are liking it. So help out my friend John. And, of course, we always want to help out Coach Haywood. If you also want to know more about Coach Haywood's books, you can go to CoachPhilipHaywood.com and look up his books. And also, Saturday nights, Jon North. John's going to love this one. We've got a huge event coming up Saturday night, 7 p.m., Hazard High School. AMW presents Thanksgiving Turmoil, the War Games. We're going to be live at Hazard High School. It's going to be an unbelievable card. We're going to have our Hall of Fame. We've got 7 matches, 2 titles on the line, and then the granddaddy of them all, the War Games match. Team Kyle versus Team Marty Clay. It's going to be Marty Clay, the Zodiac the Mystic, Bruiser Bob, the Mystic, Wayne Moxie, and John Noble to take on the team of Kyle Maggart, Stan Sierra, Chris Crow, Eric Porter, and Adrian Alexander. It's going to be an unbelievable night of wrestling. In the Hall of Fame, we're going to be putting in Stan Lee, Bobby Blaze, and Jimmy Walls. And we're going to be giving the Tracy Smothers Award to Happy Mobilini. And so if you're going to be in the Hazard area, there's very few tickets for front row left. There's still some tickets left for in the gym. If you want to be a part of that, you need to get your tickets as soon as possible. 7 o'clock bell time. It's going to be an unbelievable night. If you've never been a part of an AMW show, this is the one show you want to come to for the year because you're going to have a lot going on.
You know, CJ, I may make an appearance. I have been invited to come check things out as maybe a little commentary in the future. You never know. So
love to have you. To have you.
I think I know Aaron Rose. I'm sure you know Aaron.
We had Aaron on the show last week.
Yeah, he was on the show. He has invited me to kind of come down and see the ropes kind of from the commentary and behind the scenes standpoint to see if I would want to hop in and get involved sometime. So I may be making an appearance over there next Saturday.
John, I would love that. That would be so great. Jon North at the Thanksgiving Turmoil of the War Games. Oh, I can see that now. Oh, I hope you get to come.
Fun fact, I think it might have been, this was probably pre-COVID now. I actually did commentary for AMW.
I remember. I watched the show.
Yes, me and Nathan Little did it, and we a little behind-the-scenes magic for you. We did it at WYMT. We did it at the studio, watching it live, and we did the commentary away from. So it was a lot of fun. So I might dip my toe back in. We'll see. I
remember that that show was at the Whitaker Athletic Center, if I were mistaken, or no, that show was at the Sherman Nice Athletic Center, the one you did, because that was the same. Wasn't that the same show that they had the tar and feather match?
I think so. I think they might have.
Bo James was in a match with, and he lost, and he got tarred and feathered, and he gets Eddie Browning, I believe. That was one of the earlier days when we first started. And you can go back to YouTube and watch any of our older shows on AMW.com or on our YouTube channel. So but I hope you get to come, John, because it's going to be an unbelievable night. We got a great card. We got 2 title matches. We got the Southern States title on the line. The UCW Championship is going to be on the line. We've got the AMW Women's Championship on the line. We got a couple of tag team matches, but the big event is the War Games and the Hall of Fame. Those are the two special events to this whole evening, and it's going to be an unbelievable night. And if you can be there, please be a part of it. We're supposed to have Chris Salyers with us. Coach might have got busy too. Listen, I understand these coaches can get busy. Sometimes I have to. They remember. Sometimes they don't remember. That's okay. But hopefully we'll have Chris Salyers here in just a few minutes. But if not, I will get back with both of them and see if one of them can be on next week's show. Now, in 2 weeks, I will not have a show, December 1st. Due to it's Thanksgiving weekend, a lot of people will still be traveling back and forth. I don't want to have to it's going to be hard to get a lot of guests, so I will not be back with you. I've got a show next week, and then we're going to take the week off. Then we'll be back the second Monday or Sunday in December. So just let everybody know that ahead of time. We have let's talk UK basketball a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yesterday, what a win for the women. They go to 4-0 on the year. They get an overtime victory over number 16 Louisville. Tell you what, John, this is a women's team that I think can compete for a national title if they stay healthy.
Yeah, they have all the right pieces, CJ, and I know that was the first win for the women, and what was it, 2015?
Yeah,
2015, which is very exciting. But got all the pieces to be very good. I will say too, man, the crowd packing out Memorial was a pretty big deal as well. And I think they'll be good, and it's good to see. I know Rowe got some playing time there for him as well. I got to call her games at the WYMT Mountain Classic, and I think she's fitting into a little bit of a role there, which is really cool to see.
Was there more people at the UK football game or more people at the UK women's basketball game?
That's a great question. I don't know. I had Union football, so I wasn't able to watch the UK game, but I told my good friend Steve Black as I was in the press box on Saturday, I was like, I'm kind of glad I'm busy today, so I don't have to watch that football game. But no, very happy for the women. Very cool. And going all the way back, I mean, how about the men picking up the big win against Duke?
And nobody thought they was going to beat Duke. And if you did, you're not being honest, because I mean, but I'll tell you what, Kentucky played well. I thought Kentucky first half they knew the things they did wrong. They come back out in the second half, they corrected a lot of those mistakes, and they got down to business. That's just Coach Pope being Coach Pope, and Coach Pope is so fun to. I tell you what, he brings a lot of energy to this team. I've noticed that our fan base is more. They relate more to Coach Pope, and I think they did to. Okay, Coach Sayer says he's having computer problems, and I can't. I'll have to tell him after the show. Yes, I can reschedule. But he brings a different breath of fresh air to this team. That was a great win. Now, here's a danger, though, because your next 5 games, listen, I know it's Lipscomb, Jackson State, Western Kentucky, Georgia State, and then you play Clemson, Gonzaga back-to-back. There's a due letdown there, because we've seen in the past, John, where we're real high, and we have an oops game, or we play an oops game and don't win by 1 or 2. It's like, why did we let Jackson State play with us? It comes every year. It's happened under every UK coach we've had. So this is a big part of the schedule where Kentucky needs to play strong like they did early and really take control. Then that Clemson, Georgia, Gonzaga game is going to be even more bigger, because after you play Georgia State, you will play a team that's in the middle of the pack or ranked in the top 25 the rest of the year. Because after Georgia State, you got Clemson, Gonzaga, you play Colgate, Louisville, who I still think's not bad. I mean, Tennessee blowed them out, but the Louisville's not bad. And then you got Ohio State, and then you get an SEC play when you play Florida, and then Georgia. And, of course, you got later this season, you're going to have to play Oklahoma and Texas, both. So, listen, Oklahoma and Texas already made an impact in the SEC in football. They're going to make a big impact in basketball. So, I'm excited about both these teams. I think the women, after, their next 5 games, they've got Fort Wayne, Purdue, Arizona State's going to be tough. Illinois is going to be tough. North Carolina's going to be tough. So after this game with Purdue, Fort Wayne, which they got home games against Arizona State and Illinois, then they got a road game in North Carolina. It's going to be tough. Well, that's going to show Kentucky, the Lady Cats, is real grit. So both teams have some schedule things that's going to work on and get better at.
I think the biggest difference with UK, CJ, is that Calipari, it's been his record in the Champions Classic was subpar, and so to get kind of a win to just kind of celebrate at the beginning of the season is something that we've had rarely under Calipari. We had some great wins under Calipari, and I'm a Calipari guy. I love Cal. I think that the way his guys show love for him after he graduates is something, or after they graduate, is something that does not happen at every program. But Calipari obviously makes a relationship with those guys, and it shows off the court. But on the court, that's just something that we have not had to celebrate in quite some time. So used to it was we lose in the Champions Classic, where in a game where we're up probably 4 or 5 points with 5 minutes left, blow the lead, other team comes back, we kind of piddle around with the Colgates and Lipscombs of the world, and we'll, maybe be down at halftime, win by 10 to 12, 12 to 15, and it's like, okay, and we're all kind of waiting around for the next big game. Next big game comes around, and Cal has sometimes won them, sometimes lost them, and then there's that letdown again. Or it's like, well, this team wasn't as good as Duke or Michigan State or Kansas, but we beat them, so let's just move on. And then it's just kind of wait around for the Louisville game. It's kind of how it's been, but with Coach Pope, I really feel like there's a lot more excitement around the regular season, where in the last probably, 6-7 years with Cal, it's been, we just got to wait around for March to see if this team can kind of pull it together, because the regular season hasn't been exciting. The SEC slate hasn't been exciting. And I think that's going to change under Coach Pope. And, I love what he said, that, regardless of who we play for 40 minutes, you're going to be in a ball game. We're not going to change. We're just going to keep coming at you. And that's what happened against Duke. They got down. They didn't change the way they played. They just kept coming at Duke, and Duke wore down. They got tired. Mm-hmm. Our senior leadership really showed through. And I've always been a guy that's been like, hey, I'll take talent over experience any day. Yep. I don't think being older necessarily means that you're going to be better in those situations, but in today's age of college basketball, where you've got 23 to 25-year-olds playing, I think that's a different story now, because used to, seniors were 21, 22 years old. Now you got 25-year-olds playing college basketball. Yeah. And I just think that's a huge difference. And Cooper Flagg, who is 17, definitely saw that difference against this Kentucky team. But I'm excited. I'm all in on Coach Pope, and I was from the get-go. I wasn't one of these guys who said, oh man, why didn't we get Hurley? Why didn't we get Brad Stevens? I was all in on Pope from the get-go, and he is definitely making Big Blue Nation super excited.
Question about it. And I like his energy. He just brings great energy, and that's what you got to have when you're a coach. And he wants to know what the UK nation's thinking. Opposite of the football team. Listen, I've been behind Coach Stoops all the whole time. Listen, great guy. I like him. If he's not motivated to be here, he doesn't need to be here. And I heard that many, many times yesterday on the post game show. It ain't a matter of. It just seems like he's not wanting to be here, and him and Coach Barnhart, Mr. Barnhart, need to sit down and say, Coach, do you really want to be here? Do you want to be a part of this changing football atmosphere? Because if you're not, then we need to probably go ahead and part ways. Because listen, I like you. You're a great coach. You've done a lot for Kentucky football. But if you're not willing to, because the changes are coming, you see it coming. If you can't change, then I don't. And then if you're not, listen, he looks like he's like a sad puppy dog. He's like you asking questions of the game, Coach Leach or Mr. Leach asking questions. That's like, well, I just don't have the answers. We're trying, but I just don't know. Listen, the talent level is not there. Listen. Brock Vandergrift might be a great guy, but he's not. He's not a quarterback. Listen, I thought Kohler. How can he say his name? I thought he played well yesterday.
Yeah.
Considering the circumstances he was under, playing both quarterbacks is probably a good idea. Now you got to go to Texas. Listen, you're going to think I'm crazy, but I think Kentucky will hang around for a while, a good while, because of their defense.
Well, here's Steve, or CJ, we have the talent, man. Like that's the most frustrating thing this year with Kentucky football is it isn't like in years past when we're getting beat because we don't have talent. Mm-hmm. And I can live with that. If we don't have the talent and our guys are playing hard and we're in games, like that's what Stoops kind of, hung his hat on early in his career. That's what's so frustrating. Like we've got draft picks on this team and we're still underperforming and we're still kind of in some areas like we still don't have the talent that we need in certain areas.
I'm going to tell you right now, Darian Brown and Dane Key, when they started the year, I thought they were first-round wide receivers because they've not been able to show them off and really be able to know what they are. Yeah. They're both probably going to fall 5th, 6th round now.
Yep.
That's even if they both come out. They was talking after the game yesterday. Does Dane come out or does Dane come back for his senior year? Does Berrien stay here? Or does he want to transfer? These are questions. Because these are questions. The players that that can play, they're not going to be here if nobody else is not wanting to be here. But there was a discussion. About. He's got a phone.
Well, Sweet Home Alabama for y'all on the broadcast.
Okay. Hello, caller. This is CJ. Hey, Christopher. How you doing, sir? How's your evening? We're doing well. Me and John sitting here. We're shooting the breeze, waiting for Armando to come on as we get set to put another end to a great show. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I can always depend on you. What is on your mind on this Sunday evening? Not for sure yet. I won't know until probably Wednesday or Thursday. My brothers and me, we'll either go one or two, or we may not go at all. This all depends how the weather's going to be a big factor too, because I'm hearing they're getting a little bit of snow. But then I'm also hearing now that the weather's changed. It's going to be just cold. So, I'm going to make my decision we'll make our decision on that in the next couple of days. Well, that would be very cool. If I come to that game, Christopher, I would like that very much. I would like to meet you. Is there anything else on your mind before I move on? Well, I think the Hazard Racing game is going to be a lot different game this time. I think Hazard coming off that they had played Corbin the week before. They turned the ball over 4 times. Raceland was really ready to play. Anytime you play a team the second time, you make your adjustments. I think Hazard's going to make a lot of adjustments in this game. If they don't turn the ball over, I like Hazard to win this game if they don't turn it over. If they take care of the basketball, I think they're going to win it. The other game, listen, if Ashland comes to play like I think they will, this is going to be a classic. But now, if Ashland thinks they're just going to show up and, I think we're better than Corbin will wear them out. So they better put on their working boots and be ready to play. So Yeah, that was, good win from their night. Listen, they've had some good wins this season. The big story here is that when you got two teams of the caliber of Ashland and Corbin playing each other, this is going to be a game where I think it's going to come down to who can run the football the best. Not who can throw it, who's going to run it the best. And, defensively, Corbin's one of the top teams in the state in defensive rushing. So let's see where that game goes. Well, Christopher, you call anytime, and I was honored to take your call, and you call anytime. All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Yes. I'll just say one word. No. No. Yeah. No. But you got to have it, so we'll just have to live with it. Okay. All right, Christopher. Thank you so much. Thank you for the phone call. Appreciate it. Bye-bye. Christopher there on the phone with us, John. He's a great guy. He's a big fan of the show. He lives up towards Ashland, up around that Raceland area. So he keeps me up to date on 16th region stuff over there for me. So I try to keep up with the 16th too because there's a lot going on over there. But I like it. I like it when we get a phone call every once in a while. I like it. It's good to
talk to CJ. So you're good to go.
Exactly right. We got people watching. That's good. If you want to give us a phone call, you can call us on the number here. The show number is 1-502-849-9320 if you would like to call us. We're going to have Armando here in about 10 minutes. Coach Salyers, and hopefully he just messaged me. I messaged him back telling him that would be okay. He can come on next week. So we'll have him on the show next week. And Coach Jones must have got busy. I will also get back in touch with him. We may have 4 guests next week. I rarely do that, but I'll do that because I like to get people on here and I like to talk to these coaches. So we may do that. We'll just have to see. Well, because I've already got 2 guests set for next week. Come on, and we'll talk more about that later. All right, we've talked UK basketball. We've talked UK football. John, is there anything you want to talk about? Because I know I like to switch it up a little bit because I know when I make my notes, sometimes I like to let the co-host, if they've got something they really want to talk about, and is there anything you would want to talk about?
I don't, not offhand. I know, obviously for me, we've already kind of talked about it. But the next big thing on my radar is the Mountain Classic. But I had a really good, football game a couple weeks ago with Betsy Lane and Knott. That was on there. And then, I'm just really looking forward to basketball season, CJ. Like I said, I'm obviously a volleyball guy now, but basketball is my first love. I absolutely love calling games. It's one of my favorite sports. And then, I'm calling for Union this season as well, Union Commonwealth University. I'm on their men's and women's broadcast. So I've had a chance to cover them a couple times.
Are you still doing your broadcasting with Pineville stuff?
We kind of lost a couple of kids that was interested in it. Yeah. And we're just a small school. It's tough to find kids who are interested in it that is not also playing a sport. So I'm kind of looking for that kind of special class where I can find kids to run the broadcast that's not having to play or already played or currently playing or a cheerleader. I've got a lot of girls and boys who would be really good at it, but they're just, they're either playing or getting ready to play. And so, like, if they're a boy, they couldn't do the whole girls game if it was a doubleheader, or they couldn't do the whole JV game, so just a little logistically not there yet, but I think just laying the foundation, CJ, is going to help a lot. I think laying that foundation is going to help get students involved, and eventually we'll get some people who will be able to just kind of give it everything, and that can be their thing instead of a sport.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, if you can do it, it's a good thing because it gets the kids recognition and gives opportunity to see your team play. I understand that. But the 13th region Plus, with Mark Gregory and them, you got the media covered strongly in the 13th. So a lot of people covering different sports there. We talked. We talked about the Mountain Classic. It's coming up in about 3 or 4 weeks. Scrimmaging. A lot of teams have some scrimmage yesterday, and some of them scrimmage this coming Saturday. I know Perry Central. They're going to scrimmage Saturday at Johnson Central. A big day of basketball there at Johnson Central. They're going to play Paintsville as JV 10 o'clock, varsity 11:30. So it's going to be a full day of basketball at Johnson Central. If you're interested to come out and check that out. Casey also told you guys it'll be a full day of basketball at Betsy Lane because they're going to be playing Pike Central there at Betsy Lane. So you want to go check that out, you can do so. There's other scrimmage going on, panoramas and stuff. Just call your local school, and they should be able to tell you where you can see your team scrimmaging or panoramas going on. You want to get out and check some basketball. As John said earlier, we had a lot of sports going on. Football, NFL today, not much went on except for, the Chiefs are not undefeated no more. That was breaking news as the Bills finally did get that big win over the Chiefs. And now, as they always did, you remember when the Miami Dolphins was the last undefeated team, and their coach, when the last undefeated team got beat, they always would pop that champagne cork.
Yep.
And I think it went off earlier today when the Chiefs were. I'll tell you what, though, the team I'm looking forward to, and I love watching, is the Detroit Lions, John. I think they get better and better every week they play.
I was very impressed. I watched the Sunday Night Football, or maybe it was, I don't remember which it was, when they were at Green Bay. And that was just set up, for, it was raining / snowing. It was cold, nasty. And, man, they just come out. And, that's the type of game that you expect Green Bay to win at home. That's the type of atmosphere that they want to win in. Yep. And that Lions team, man, went up there and wrecked shop. It was pretty cool to watch that. But they're the real deal. Got a heck of a head coach up there as well that's into it. One of the better characters, I think, in all of NFL. And so I think you're definitely a team that is a contender.
What about last Sunday night? Listen, these are stats I'm going to throw at you, and you're thinking, well, that's happening. I know they lost. 5 interceptions, 9 between the two quarterbacks, and the team that threw 5 interceptions won the game. What am I talking about? That's what Detroit did last week against the Houston Texans. Texas dominated the first half. They were trailing at halftime by 2 touchdowns. And the Lions come all the way back, win the game. But both quarterbacks combined throw for 9 interceptions. I have never seen that in my life. But I've never seen a team throw 5 picks and win a game. That was wild.
There was a kind of a scoring, or dare I say, like a stat anomaly too the other day at Union, where I was covering their girls team, and at one point they had more turnovers than they had made field goals at one point, and they were in the lead by like 12, and I was like, what? Like, how? That has to be pretty rare for that to happen. But they were scoring at a pretty good clip, but they had turned it over. I think at the time it was 22 times, and I think they had 21 field goals total, 2s and 3s, and they were still winning. They were still winning the game because they were shooting it so well.
I did see Union took a tough loss at the University of Cumberland about a week ago. But, I was telling somebody I think Union, that will help them down the road.
They got a new coach there, and Coach Haddix, Union does, and he has quite the pedigree, has coached some NBA players currently, has traveled kind of all over the NAIA and that circuit. He's real in tune to that. And so I'm anxious to kind of, this is the first year, come in a little late, I think, to the game. And so probably didn't get the guys that he wanted really in there. But so far, it's pretty good. They were down against Bluefield at the half on Wednesday, and completely turned it around in the second half, doubled their scoring in the second half. And I just thought really showed some grit. And, I know this is a different brand of basketball than we're used to seeing under Kevin Burton and then Tim Curry, who took the mantle after Kevin Burton. But, I still think Union, when it's all said and done, you come from a prestigious program like Georgetown, you're going to bring some of that juice into your own program. And I think Coach Haddix is going to have it going there at Union sooner than later.
Yeah, no question about it. If you've never been to an NAIA football or basketball game, you are badly need to go, because this is some of the most entertaining athletes to watch. They're not the big names, but they put on great shows. The records sometimes may not show that, but it's just entertaining athletics to watch, and I enjoyed it a whole lot. I'm more entertained to watch an NAIA game than I am sometimes Kentucky, or sometimes it's good competition.
Yeah, and I thought Union going to end the season. They won 3 games. Still kind of struggling, I think, to get it off the ground there. But it's high level competition. For example, and I'm not definitely, this is not a downplay on the kid, but the kid that got Mr. Football last year, Daniel Thomas at Bell County. We all know what a phenomenal athlete and year he had. He struggles to get on the field at UVA-wise, and this is a I don't get kids, and not him per se, but I use him for an example. But I just don't get kids who look at the NAI and kind of turn their nose up to it in basketball or football, because it's a grind and it's hard.
Very hard,
especially on the basketball side. Kids who turn their nose up to Union basketball or Cumberland basketball, go practice one time in those atmospheres. There's the best players in the 13th region. They're not going to come to the NAI and just automatically be stars. That's how deep it is at that level, and it's so athletic. I compared the AAC a lot to the SEC of old. Now, the SEC currently is a really good league, but the SEC of old, from a basketball standpoint, they weren't always the best. But if you look at pure athleticism and like how tough and hard they play, that's what the AAC reminds me of. It's a very physical league, and you got to be a grown man to come. You got to be a grown man to bring in that league, man.
Well, that's true, and I've seen a lot of games, and I know that if you don't bring it every time, you're going to struggle. And, just got to stay in there and stick and go. And then, much like a boxer, you got to stick and go, and just got to hang in there the best you can. Joining us is a good friend of ours, Mr. Armando Berry. Armando, welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me, man. How are y'all doing?
Always. We are doing good. How about you, sir?
Doing good.
Lot going on. Things are busy for you, busy for a lot of people. Just tell us how you been. I know you couldn't be with us last week, but I'm glad to have you back this week, and hopefully you'll be with us for weeks to come. But how are things going?
Yeah, no, things are good. I'm excited for high school football playoffs. Still got a lot of good games, maybe the last week for a lot of good local games, possibly with things getting deeper and deeper. So I'm excited to see the winners and losers of that. Basketball season creeping up on us. I'm excited. I'm a hoops guy. I played basketball growing up, so much as I do like high school football and college football, I'm excited to see everybody play basketball as well.
I've been watching your round ball previews. They've been great. Kids been doing great. Coach has been doing great. They've been good previews. We've seen some good stuff. We're getting a good idea of what these teams are about. And, of course, you got your round ball previews coming up for the next couple of weeks. But you got your boys and girls round ball top 10 show coming up. One is on Thanksgiving Eve and one Thanksgiving night, or on Black Friday. Tell us when them two programs will be on.
Yes, sir. I believe those are actually going to be the week after Thanksgiving.
Okay, all right.
Like the first week of December on like a Wednesday and Thursday, I think is what we did here. So, yep. And once December hits, it's officially basketball month, kind of, sort of.
I'm going to bring out my first top 10s next week, and if you're on the show with me, you'll get to scrape through them and see if you like and don't like what you don't think because I'll give you an early look at mine, and we'll get a look at your guys later. This is a hard year to pick 10 quality boys and girls teams because I believe there's so many good teams out there in each of these regions. This is one year, though, that's harder because there's not a lot of senior leadership on a lot of these teams, but teams that have good talent.
Right. Yeah, I think almost every boys and girls region is open except for the 13th girls. I think that's the most interesting one to watch. I think there's just so many good teams. You can go down the list. I feel like every team, they lost seniors, but they're all still either bringing back a lot or they have a lot of talent that they're retaining that were young before. So I think the 13th region girls is going to be my personal favorite preseason going in.
Well, I think Knox Central and North Laurel are the two best teams in the 13th girls, and I think they're the best two teams regardless of the four regions because they've got the best talent, and Knox Central's got the best player. So I think that we look at the Mountain Classic, we look at the matchups. They're separate from each other. The chances of them getting to the finals are really good if they take care of business. And that's what you hope to get because you want to see those two meet in the finals. But, we talk about the Mountain. We're going to get to the Mountain Classic, but we're going to talk football first. But this is a fun Friday night of games. This is not – in the past, I'd be like, I really don't like these matchups. Some of these are boring. But that's not the case this week.
Definitely not.
We've got two rematches. No, we got one rematch, I'm sorry. But a lot of games that could cause intrigue. Let's go over the schedule real quick. Let's start with Hazard at Raceland. Now, this game's going to be totally different now than it was in week 5. If you remember, Hazard coming off the game against Corbin, they were a little beat up. They go into the Raceland game. They turn the ball over 5 times total, and they end up losing pretty bad. And it looked like they just was outmatched, but those turnovers just hurt Hazard. Turnover after turnover, it's hard to come back from that. I think this is going to be a totally different game, Fred. I think if Hazard don't turn the ball over, I think they got a great chance of winning.
I think that's definitely one where, I feel like Hazard Bulldog fans, you got to look at that as like a little bit of a revenge game, like you said. I believe they were 3-0 or 4-0 up until that game, and then they went up to Raceland, and then that started like a losing streak for them. That shifted their season a little bit, and then they got it back in gear later on towards the year. So I think that's one where I'm sure Hazard will probably come in as the underdog. People will probably expect Raceland to handle them handily like how they did the first time. But, football is hard to keep beating someone twice unless you're that much better. But I think that would be a great one. Another one that I'm looking forward to is Lexington Catholic at Bell County. And that's going to be a real good one.
I'm surprised you skipped across the one game that I think is going to be the most intriguing, and I think it's going to be the most nail-biting and surprising game, and that's Ashland at Corbin.
Really?
Yeah, I think Ashland's for real. And we're about to find out Friday night. Now, I know Corbin's a good football team. I understand that. But if Corbin thinks if they're just going to let Ashland's going to wash right in there, and they going easy, wrong. This is an Ashland team that can score. They're not bad defensively. And this is not a good matchup for Corbin because if you remember back in week 6 when Johnson Central played Corbin, we remember Ashland beat Johnson Central and beat them the same way that Corbin had beat Johnson Central in a high-scoring affair. I'd almost think this will be a high-scoring game because these two teams are about evenly matched across the board.
Yeah, that should be a good one. I don't know, Katie Lim, he looked insane throughout his playoff run and most of the season. They haven't even been touched. So I think that Ashland is the first person that will, come to Corbin and, kind of be like, okay, maybe this will be a little mono, but I still think Corbin will probably win the game. But I also have Corbin in that one, but I think that will be maybe their first interesting matchup of the postseason so far. Because so far, it's been a snooze fest. They've just beaten everybody up. Everybody.
They scored 100 and some points first two games.
Yeah, I'm waiting for an interesting game out of Corbin, but that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. Here's an old school game, Russell at Belfry. These two used to play all the time and back in the 90s and stuff when Russell was in 2A and Belfry was in 2A. Now that they're both in 3A, which Belfry is going to 2A next year, this is an old school matchup, and this is going to be, I think, a fun game. I think it's going to be about like what the Rockcastle Belfry game was, close. It's going to come down to about the final little bit there. Russell's good at controlling clock. Belfry's good at controlling clock. Well, which team's going to control each other? We'll have to wait and see. I like that matchup. But the game that intrigues me the most, because I don't know, all year long we've been talking about them, and we said they're due for that one marquee victory is the Maroons of Pulaski County at Highlands. Now, I know they got a long trip, and I know this is going to be a little difficult, but if they go up for a focus, I think he can beat Highlands.
Travis Burns and Pulaski County have had a heck of a first blaze through. He said preseason that he wanted to put Pulaski County back on the map. A win like that on the road, that's how you do something like that, especially in your first year with the team. And speaking of coaches in their first year, how about Wesley Hager? I was saying preseason in our football top 10 show that something about their team just felt optimistic, felt positive. And they almost had an undefeated season. They beat Betsy Lane. They smashed Betsy Lane for the second meeting. And now they host Somerset. I think that would be a fun game to watch as well. I remember someone was posting on Facebook that one of my colleagues sent me, like, Somerset is like always beating Prestonsburg by a lot in their history. So
they used to be in the same district region, and they usually meet in regional finals about every year, and Somerset would wear them out. So this is going to be a nice game Friday night. That's the only mountain matchup we really got. Everybody's playing teams that are located in the central or northern part of the state. The two teams, though, that's probably got the hardest matchups is Martin County and Southwestern. So they got to play Beechwood and Cooper. Yeah. And both of them are probably the top two teams in their class in 5A and 2A. But now Martin County played Beechwood last year, and that didn't go very well. So they're hoping this time it goes a little bit better.
Yeah, no, those are both definitely tough trips up to Northern Kentucky.
Yeah, long trips listen, some of these teams are traveling 4-5+ hours to go play Friday night. That's tough.
Yeah, y'all play far here in Kentucky. I noticed that. Y'all have far road trips.
Yeah. Are we going to have any more games of the week? What can you tell us about that?
We're gonna have more games of the weeks. We didn't have one this past week, but we're gonna have more games of the weeks. Looking forward to it. I can't announce it just yet because we haven't finalized what's coming up this week. But once we do have it finalized, I'll put it out on the airways. And but it's still a lot of exciting games, so we definitely want to do that for sure.
Yeah, I know you guys do, and I know you guys love doing that, and that's what YMT's been signature has always been, having that game of the week, basketball or football. And I just love it when you guys got one. So it was a rarity not to see one this week because that was right. I looked over. Whoops, no game. Oh, I'm sad. I'm gonna cry. Oh no, because I miss you. I miss John. I miss Tanner. I miss listening to them bring the action to the fans here in Eastern Kentucky. So hopefully you'll get back to that pretty soon. And okay, let's get to the Mountain Classic. I haven't seen you since the bracket come out because I had talked to Jack and Audrey before I had talked to you. So let's get to the bracket. Let's go over it real quick. What's your thoughts on? I know the boys' draw was. That's going. I've told you this is the best field of 8 I've seen in a long time. This is a very tough field of 4 games. These are 4 games that could go either way.
Yeah.
I mean, if one team beat the other one, it wouldn't be an upset because these I think are just. I'm excited. Monday night you got Harlan County and Knott County Central in the opener, and then the nightcap you got Perry Central and Clay County. Then Tuesday night you have a loser or a consolation game at 5:00. Then will be the other two first round games, which will be Hazard and let me find them here. Hazard and Prestonsburg, and then Pineville will play Breathitt County. Which game of the four intrigues you the most?
Which game of the four intrigues me the most? With the boys, right?
Yes.
It's tough. I would say there's like three. It's hard. Perry Central and Clay County is interesting because they both, with Clay, they were such a good class. They have a lot of their team graduating. So I wonder what they're going to look like early on in the season. And Perry Central, they always end up being a good, decent team. I don't know how. They'll be not that great during the regular season. And then in the tournament time, they become good. So I'm interested to see, they always show up for the classic. So I'm interested in what they will look like. And then with Breathitt, I think that game was interesting because you have Austin Sperry. They're a fun team to watch. He's a fun player to watch. But also, Sawyer Thompson, we've had some couple games with him where, late night out here, he went off 30. He went off for a couple threes. I wonder, will this be, because Pineville, this is my first time getting to see them in the Classic. Will he have a couple games and their team have a couple games and then drop some threes and make things interesting? I would like to see that.
Yeah. You talk about Perry Central. They opened up the season playing Harlan County right off the bat.
Wow.
And then they play their first three games are against they play two of the top teams in each of the other regions, and then they open up Mount Classic playing Clay County. So Perry Central's got a very tough schedule right off the bat, which Shannon don't mind that because it makes them better.
Right.
He wants them intriguing matchups. So it just makes them better. But you talk about Pineville. Pineville could be the dark horse of this tournament because nobody's really paying any attention to them. And also, we need to also think about what happened Friday night in the Breathitt County game. Was there not an injury to Austin Sperry? Now, I think he's okay, but did we? Huh?
You talking about football wise at the Beechwood game?
Yes.
I didn't know of anything if it did so far. I didn't know because I got those. I wasn't personally there. Our sister station in Northern Kentucky helped us out with those.
Okay.
They were up there, so I wouldn't know. I'd have to see and ask around.
I thought he got shooken up in the game. That's what I was hearing. So I don't know that for a fact, but I was just wondering if you guys had heard the same thing.
No, I haven't heard too much.
Okay. So I need to investigate that more and have an update next week. Because they can't afford to have any time with him out because Austin's so important to Coach Honeycutt and the Bobcats. So, they got to have him out there.
Absolutely.
I know, Armando, you can't talk about a lot of things going on right now,
right.
But the one thing that I do want to know is how are the spirits at YMT?
I would say that we're good. There's only so much that we can do. There's only so much I can even talk about, really. But I would say everyone is still dedicated to serving Eastern Kentucky. I didn't know anything about this area before I came here, but it's a lot of special people. People enjoy, we enjoy going to work every day. We enjoy helping out people. We enjoy, covering the areas that we do, especially the people who are from here, like Steve and our news director and Neil. They dedicate their whole lives to this area. So I would say that, we're all that's the mindset right now. We're all dedicated to doing the best that we can with what we can, So that's pretty much how I would sum it up.
Yeah, and we're hoping for good. We're hoping for and praying for good stuff to come out here in the next weeks to come. We're hoping to hear some really good news, and maybe things will work itself out. So we're going to keep praying for everybody there at YMT and everybody in the situation. John, questions for Armando?
Yeah, I think you covered just about everything, Steve or CJ, that I'd like to talk about. But I am excited, obviously, for the Mountain Classic on the boys and girls side. But you mentioned a few players, and I know you probably don't have anything in front of you, but just any teams that kind of we haven't mentioned that you're excited about, or any players that you're excited about in the upcoming season, or maybe even any storylines that you have on the top of your head that you're anxious to see play out.
I'm gonna talk about basketball. Just got to know that's coming up with.
Yeah.
But with basketball, the first thing that comes to my mind is there's a Reggie Cottrell is one. I was there at the hospital covering whenever his accident happened in the 4th of July. I got to interview him and catch up with him, and whenever he came to the station for their round ball preview that will air here soon in the next few weeks. What Harlan County will look like this upcoming year is going to be fun to watch because they have talent on the team. They have still their core on the team, but they don't have Trent, who was just Trent Noah, of course. But I think you're going to see like that spirited side of them for sure. And Reggie Carter's just a fun player to watch. His game does the talking. On the girls' side, I'm excited for the entire girls' side of the Mountain Classic. I feel like it's a lot of games where there is no sleeper game. There is no automatic win. Every team is competitive. I like a lot of the. I just want to see, especially when we get to the semifinals, that the semifinals from what it could look like is really, really fun. I think those are going to be great nights to watch. And then whoever's winning the championship, because I believe Corbin has won back-to-back years. But if there's been, they graduated a lot. They still have Kylie Clem, who was dynamite. Knocked Central. I remember last year in the tournament, I remember they almost knocked off North Florida on the semis. I covered that.
Without Hallie Collins, too.
She wasn't playing.
Yeah.
So, I'm interested in what their team look like because, on paper, they look stacked and great. They're taking on Paintsville. Paintsville's a team where, I think there was a girl, I forgot her name. She was taller. She could dribble. She could shoot. She was really good. Knott County, what they'll look like with the players they've added. Harlan, not sleep on them. And then North Laurel, people are going to say whatever they say about, but I think they're going to be a super good team. They have so much young talent, along with Brooke Nicholson, who's kind of like the elder statesman on the team as a senior. But I'm looking forward to the good side.
Though you was talking, John mentioned Haley Collins.
Yeah.
Am I not mistaken? Did they not pick up a girl from South Laurel?
I believe so.
Point guard?
It's Mills. Yeah, I don't want to say her. It's Mills, though, is her last name.
Yeah, I thought they had picked up one, and that really helped them out because they needed another guard to go along with the guards they already had coming back.
Yeah, I know they added one more girl on their team who I heard was good. So,
and I know
they're loaded. They're loaded, man.
Yeah, South Laurel also has a new girls coach. Chris Salyers was supposed to be on here tonight, but he can't be with us till next week because he's having computer problems. But we talked about, we have some new coaches in new places that some of them I'll be interested to watch them coach their first games because when you start coaching, you're new. We've seen a lot of our football coaches be successful this year, first time out. Can we see that in basketball?
It's hard with basketball because it's a longer season. It's more time for things to go wrong. There's more time for things to go up and down. But I'm sure with everyone, there's people taking over programs who are already pretty good, who already have some talent and are just needed, a little bit of different direction. So I'm sure there will be.
Yeah. I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. Basketball's right here from scrimmaging start. Panoramas and scrimmages have already begun. Brown ball previews will continue. You can watch those on WYMT starting again tomorrow night.
Yep.
They run all week. Don't forget about Sports Overtime on Friday nights, Saturday nights. Don't forget about that. Armando, it's always an honor. We will see you again next week after we'll be down to our final 8 and see how many mountain schools we have left. We should have several left by the time next week comes around, and we'll see how many of those can make it to state semifinals and see if we're going to get that matchup that everybody's been waiting for the second straight year in a row. Will we get Corbin Bull in the state semifinals? Have to wait and see.
That's right.
But again, Armando, thank you so much, sir. We are praying for you guys, and hopefully things will work out. And you have the best of evening, and we'll talk to you next week.
Appreciate y'all. Have a good one, brother.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Armando Berry, WYMTV, as he gets can check him out on the 11 o'clock news tonight there at WYMTV. We're going to go ahead and let me go ahead and get some final notes in here, and then we'll get out of here. Want to say thank you to everybody that we had a call tonight. Thank you for Christopher. Well, we had a lot of great comments over here, guys. We had a lot of people watching that. Thank you so very much for watching, being a part of the show. We appreciate that every week here on the CJ Howard Show. It means so much when you guys watch and comment. I love when you comment because it gives me an opportunity to see who's watching and who's doing, who's here. One reminder, I want to thank all of our guests, which Casey joined us. Coach Salyers and Coach Jones probably got busy. Armando was here with us. I will get back with them. Hopefully, we may have both of them on the show next week. If not, I will have one or two of them on the next show after I take the week off for Thanksgiving. Want to remind everybody, I will be back with you Sunday night, November 24th. That's next Sunday night, 8 o'clock for episode number 14 of the CJ Aaron Show. Want to have Thomas Ramey as my co-host. Want to have John Bentley with us. Also, Charlie Pack's going to be with us. If you guys don't know Charlie, he is the head coach at Kentucky Christian University. We're going to have him on the show next week, talk about his team, and then we'll have many other guests and a lot more. And we'll be ready, get you ready for the Thanksgiving week as well. Want to remind everybody, too, go to my Facebook page. I want you to find the CJ Howard Show page. I want you to like it with your friends and family, and I want you to share it with everybody you can share it with. I would appreciate that very much. Go to my YouTube channel, CJ Howard. So I want you to like and I want you to subscribe. I need all the subscribes I can get over there and all the help I can need. Guys, follow me on TikTok. We're live on TikTok tonight. We've had several people come in and out. We've had several people come in and out tonight. We look like about 3,000 likes, so it's pretty good considering that when people come in and out, didn't know what I was doing, but they was able to hear me. So I want to thank everybody on TikTok that was over there tonight. Thank you, guys. There's a thumbs up for you, for everybody that was over there. Thank you. Hopefully one day we'll get the show on TikTok and you'll be able to watch it, and that will be an exciting moment. Also want to remind everybody, I do have a Cash App attached to my show. If you would like to donate to the show, I'll take any donation because it helps buy equipment. I always need headphones and equipment because stuff, you got to have the best equipment to be able to put the show on. And I want to be able to put the best product out there for you guys and our fans. All right, John, give me your final thoughts and we'll get out of here.
No, great night. I know we only had Armando, but how about that, man? That interview with Coach Huff was really good. I would advise anybody, if you didn't catch that, go back and listen to it. Was very good. And then, thanks for everybody tuning in tonight. I got a ton of messages tonight, Steve. I keep calling you Steve, and I don't know why. Steve Black must be talking about me or thinking about me at the moment, because I can't stop calling you Steve. But
Steve Black's a great man, so it's okay. You call me Steve. I'm okay with that.
CJ, everybody needs to go back and watch that. You need to get Steve out of the bed on a Sunday night to
I told him, I said I would put him on at 8:10 if he would just come on here for 15 minutes and do it.
And I told him, I said, you'd be great with CJ. You need to come on. We talked about it this weekend, actually.
You're going to have to keep begging him on that.
I know, I will. But, yeah, thanks to everybody who tuned in. I had a lot of messages of people that was and talked to people throughout the show that was on and tuned in and listened. So, Do appreciate them, and always appreciate you, CJ, for your work for the kids and the athletes in the region and the coaches as well, to give them a chance to get on and talk. It's a pretty big deal. You've had me on before to talk about volleyball, and then I get to come on and co-host as well. So
I'm going to bring you back as a co-host. I want you to talk about middle school volleyball when I bring you back. So I'm going to bring you back in February.
We'll be right in the thick of it right then. So that'll be a good time to come on and talk. And then anytime you need me as a co-host, sir, reach out, and hopefully I'm not doing too much on a Sunday.
That sounds like a winner to me. John, do not leave me when we are off the air. I got something I'm going to tell you after we get done. Guys, I'll get a reminder. Join me next Thursday night or Sunday night. CJ Harris Show, episode number 14. As we'll be here at 8 o'clock, as we always are. This is CJ Howard, rounding third, heading for home. And as Casey Kasem would say, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. I love you all. God bless you, and good night.